to understand your team. You need to know the strength of your team. You need to know the threats that your opponent is coming with. If you're able to check these boxes, you're good. Arsenal won that game. Arsenal won the game. He brought out the blueprint that you can always replicate against PSG and get your results. Do you think he could have matched Kvaratskhelia's pace throughout the first half and into the second half? Considering the fact that he was coming back from an injury. So many key decisions that kept going in favor of one club. Mosquera was brought into the middle, to help Declan Rice, shield the defense. So for Arsenal to play in EPL, top the table for so long and end up winning it, and also play unbeaten in Champions League, it shows that Arsenal actually stepped up their game this season. But they put a very strong wall in front of the defense, and they used only the flanks to attack. Because giving 2 players, giving 3 players to mark him, he wouldn't come out complaining. Football has been saved. Football has been saved. Football has been saved. The game we love so much, man. For a minute, it was as if everything was going to go down the drain. Because we saw what happened in the EPL, some key decisions, not just 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. So many key decisions that kept going in favor of one club. A club plays throughout the season without a red card, without a penalty against them. A club that is very defensive at that matter. Like I said, football has been saved. Let's go in. Some key things I want us to talk about regarding the Champions League final. But before we go into that, congrats to Kvaratskhelia, for being the European Player of the Season. It's not a mean feat. The guy has been phenomenal. Starting from last season, actually, he has shown what he's made of. Not just last season, but when he was in Napoli, he has always shown that, man, you can never put this guy in a box. Give him 2 players, give him 3 players to mark him. He wouldn't come out complaining, for that. Instead, he's going to find a solution, and he did exactly that on Saturday against a very condensed Arsenal team. Because a game that saw Arsenal get less than 25% ball possession. That is terrible. That is awful. That is awful. But let's not go in that direction. Let's start with Arteta's game plan coming into that. Before this match, I said in my previous something that if Arsenal can keep PSG from scoring in the first 20 minutes, they'll likely win that game. And we saw that happening almost, it almost happened, if not for the X factor called Kvaratskhelia. Because Arsenal, at the beginning of the game, we knew what to expect. We knew what they were going to come up with. Because if you look at the way they were set up, Mosquera was brought into the middle, to help Declan Rice, shield the defense. We already know that Arsenal has a very strong defense. So having that wall in front of the defense, we knew what was going to happen in the match. A defensive side coming against an attacking side. That was what was going to go down. But did the plan actually work? I would say to an extent, because the only reason why PSG got a goal was because of the individual mistake by Mosquera, and it can happen to any player. Let's be frank. People were saying Timber should have started and all that. If Timber started, do you think he could have matched Kvaratskelia's pace throughout the first half and into the second half? Considering the fact that he was coming back from an injury, I don't think he would have been able to match that guy, So Mosquera did a good job, keeping him in check, of course, with the assistance of Luis Kelly, as not just Luis Kelly, but Declan Rice as well, and other guys, in the Arsenal defense. So they did a very good job keeping him, in check until that point where the slip was made, and of course, Arsenal considered a penalty. So I will say Arteta, to an extent, I'll give him kudos, because there's nothing as good as knowing your capacity and of course knowing the threat your opponent is coming with. Because if you go into that game trying to compete with PSG in terms of ball possession, PSG is going to rip Arsenal into shreds. There was no way Arsenal would have matched them in terms of the attacking threats. It wasn't going to happen. And if we look back, to what happened in MetLife Stadium last year, PSG against Chelsea, that was exactly what Chelsea did. Because they put a very strong wall in front of the defense, and they used only the flanks to attack. Because, I said it that Enzo Maresca, it's unfortunate he left Chelsea, for whatever reason, but he brought out the blueprint that you can always replicate against PSG and get your results. If you're coming against PSG with the way they're set up at the moment, don't use your midfield to attack, use your midfield to defend and attack through the flanks. It's as simple as that. Chelsea got 3 goals in first half of the game. The plan was perfect and it was well executed. So Arsenal came, I feel, to an extent, Arteta referenced that game in what he did today, in what he did on Saturday rather. So we saw that PSG couldn't play. Yeah, they had the ball, but they couldn't play. If you listen to the interview that Vitinha granted at the end of the match, they couldn't get space through the team. They couldn't penetrate. They couldn't go in. It was very difficult for them. If not for Kvaratskhelia, Arsenal won that game. Arsenal won the game. And another thing we wouldn't fail to acknowledge is the chance that Arsenal missed in the first half. It could have been 2-0. Because if Kai Havertz buried that second opportunity, it would have been game over. It would have been game over. Trust me. Because Arsenal was ready. What happened in the Premier League aside, if we have to assess Arsenal by the performance they put up on Saturday, to me, it was a well above average performance. I know a lot of people have dragged them as regards the ball possession and stuff. Football is about, to be a good manager, you need to understand your team. You need to know the strength of your team. You need to know the threats that your opponent is coming with. If you're able to check these boxes, you're good. And Arteta, I feel he's someone that thinks. He's someone that, processes a lot before he does whatever he's doing. Look at the way he set up his team. He used the guys he trusted. Old guys. Eberechi was never meant to be on the pitch. Considering when he came in, he was never meant to be on the pitch. The striker was never meant to be there. The first option was Kai Havertz, and he didn't shy away from that. Gyokeres was meant to come in maybe towards the end of the second half. People were saying, I remember Henry of Fans Tribe saying that he should have started with Gyokeres. He has the muscle, he has the energy to muscle them and all that. It goes beyond that. This kind of game needs a lot of intelligence. And I'll give it to Kai Havertz. Yes, of course, he disrespects Chelsea, anytime he gets the opportunity. But of course, let's stay with the facts. That guy is very intelligent. Someone like Kai Havertz is someone that is always in control of his emotions on the pitch. If you're given the ball 97 minutes into the game, if he gets the chance, he's going to bury the ball and he's going to do it in a very calm manner. We saw what he did against Sporting in the second leg. He's a very calm guy. Once the opportunity comes, that's the guy to give the ball. I won't say the same about Victor Gyokeres. He's energetic and all that, but most times he allows his emotions get into the way. He gets frustrated and all that, and he makes the wrong decisions. So, in terms of the game setup, the way Arsenal, the way Arteta prepared his team, and the way, from what we saw on Saturday, it was a above average performance from Arsenal. Because come on, whoever knew, you can say it's luck, but nobody expected Arsenal to get a goal, as early as they did, and we saw where the goal came from. So Arteta had a clear plan for his team, and they, to a reasonable extent, executed it. Look at where the second opportunity came from as well, from the flank. So Arteta had a plan. To an extent, let's give kudos to Enzo Maresca because he made us realize how easy it is to beat PSG. And Arteta leveraged on that. We saw it on the day, and it almost worked. If that second chance was buried, come on, that's game over. That's lights out for PSG. But it is what it is. PSG won through penalties, but of course, for Arsenal to stretch them that far, we saw their key players leaving the pitch injured. Cramps here and there. Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Vitinha. Come on. So kudos to Arsenal. I'll give it to them. But of course, as a Chelsea fan, I'll be sincere with you. It was a good thing that PSG won. Reason being that the way Arsenal played in the EPL is not something you want to encourage in the world of football. Because if someone turns out, Arsenal built a team, then 6 years down the line, he's winning a double, Champions League and Premier League after 22 years and after 20 years. People are going to look at it. People are good to an extent. People may try to reference it. People may try to replicate what he has done. And that will be bad for football because we see that a lot of teams now in EPL across Europe, they try to play from the back, and we agree that has always been the way Pep organizes his team. So it's good for football. It's good to watch. It's entertaining. But the way Arsenal plays, yes, it gets them the result. But what if every team plays like that? You will hate football. Because come on, in terms of delay in taking a set piece, Arsenal is the highest. That is not good for a champion. That is not what you want other clubs to replicate. Those are not the kind of tables you want to top. Those are not the kind of stats you want to read, for your team. So, to an extent, I think it was a good thing that Arsenal lost the Champions League trophy, sincerely. Once again, kudos to Arsenal. They put up a good fight. A lot of people expected PSG to go there and run them over. 3-0, 4-0, 4-1. Those were the predictions we saw before the game. But of course, Arsenal proved them wrong. So, kudos to them. Now, let's talk about this player called Declan Rice. Declan Rice is a phenomenon. He's an icon at the moment. That guy is a monster. He's so strong. Like from start of the game till the end, you'll see him motivating the players. Even the players that came into the pitch after, later in the game, you see him motivating them. You see him come, trying to ginger them, trying to motivate them, trying to keep them in the game. I don't see that from the captain of Arsenal, Odegaard. I'm not trying to do a comparison, but the truth is the truth. And a lot of people are beginning to see that. I don't see that in Odegaard. And if this continues, because I don't see Arteta stripping Odegaard of the captain's band to give it to Declan Rice. I don't see him doing that. I feel to an extent, he likes Odegaard. Odegaard has been there. He has been with him through thick and thin. Through the hard times and all that. So I think to an extent, he tilts towards him in terms of some decisions he makes, because Odegaard starting that game on Saturday shows that Arteta actually trusts him. When it matters the most, when the stakes are the highest. So we saw that on Saturday, and to an extent, Odegaard, gave it a good try. But in terms of leadership and in terms of being consistent, I think Declan Rice is, he has gotten way above Odegaard at the moment. But of course, like I said, I don't see the captain's band shifting unless Odegaard leaves the team. So Arsenal fans, you guys should watch out. And we heard, Arteta talking about making some changes in the team. So possibly Odegaard may, be in another team come next season. Now, you guys remember I released a video, before the match. I talked about the referee, that was going to officiate the final of the Champions League, and the controversies around some of the decisions he has made, even in this tournament. Now, on the day, we know it's a final. We know the stakes are the highest. We know how much we know how important that trophy was to Arsenal, and how important it still is to them, to win the trophy. We know all that. But the rules of the game are the rules of the game. There is hardly a gray area when it comes to certain decisions in football. I'm going to point out two decisions. One was the penalty that was given to PSG, and the penalty claim by PSG guys on Bukayo Saka. Now, let's look at what happened between Kvaratskhelia and Mosquera. That challenge was a very dangerous tackle. His studs were high. And we saw that he drew blood. Not just that, Kvaratskhelia was true on goal. We know how fast that guy is. There was no way either Saliba or Gabriel was going to get to him. That guy was true on goal. And to bring him down in the way that Mosquera did, that was, at least a yellow card, if not a red card. Yes, we understand that he was already on a yellow card. Too bad. The rule is the rule. So why the referee didn't issue a yellow card for that incident, buttresses what I said before the match. Because we also saw his decisions in favor of Arsenal in the game between Arsenal and the Atletico Madrid, the second leg in this tournament. So it buttresses what I said earlier as regards the way he takes this decision. Daniel Siebert, yes, he's a German, but come on. How come we are, if it happens twice, they say it's a coincidence, but if it happens 3 times, it's a conspiracy. So why are we seeing all this? So it was so clear that the Arsenal defender was going to get a red card or a yellow card for that tackle. And of course, that will amount to a red card because he has gotten a yellow before. So why that didn't happen, I don't understand, because it was clear. After the tackle, we could see blood on Kvaratskhelia's leg. What are we doing? This is modern football. So that was one. Then 2, there was a corner kick against Arsenal. Arsenal tried to clear the lines. The ball got to the guy Saka, and he tried to clear the ball, but somehow he missed his kick, and the ball went to his upper arm, and to his hand. So if you're going to discount the contact with the upper arm, what about the outstretched hand that got in touch with the ball? So why that wasn't a penalty, I do not understand, because these things, well, the good thing is that PSG ended up winning the game, because if PSG lost that game, a lot of dust is going to be raised, and it will be going in the direction of Daniel Siebert, because those decisions were crystal clear. You don't even need to consult the VAR to spot what happened in those incidents. So it was very clear. So it's something we need to look at, to check the kind of games that we allow Daniel Siebert to handle, and his level of judgment, in key areas during the game. It's something we need to look at. So looking at the Arsenal season, holistically, it was a fantastic season from Arsenal point of view. It was a fantastic season, winning the league after 22 years, massive success. Kudos to the boys, they worked really hard. Although there are still questions that, what if those important decisions that went in favor of Arsenal actually went the right way? How many points would Arsenal have lost? If we look at the decisions, Arsenal wouldn't be champions today. That is the truth. But let's not go into that. They've won. They've gotten the trophy. We move on. Arsenal had a fantastic season. They had a fantastic season because, to win the trophy, to have a trophy parade, that's brought out over 1.5 million people, that got over 1.5 million people involved. It's not, it shows how big, the celebration meant to them. It shows how big the trophy meant to the Arsenal as a brand, because having to wait that long, because Arsenal is not a small club. Come on. In England, in Europe, Arsenal is not a small club. So to wait that long to get this trophy, it meant a lot to them, So, they shouldn't, cry so much about the Champions League. Yes, it's a chance you shouldn't miss. Chelsea, the first time they played in the final, in a very painful way, the John Terry slip, and the second time they came to the final, they won against all odds. So it's not something you want to miss, especially once you get to the final. It's always good to, grab that trophy, because winning Champions League is not easy. Trust me, it's not easy, because the competition is getting stiffer and stiffer and stiffer. So that goes to show that PSG actually did a lot this season. But I want to point out something, because at the end of the day, these players are humans. They are humans just like every one of us. And we know how difficult EPL is. We know how difficult it is. So for Arsenal to play in EPL, top the table for so long and end up winning it, and also play unbeaten in Champions League, it shows that, Arsenal actually stepped up their game this season, irrespective of the controversies around the EPL trophy. They stepped up their game, they put in more than they did the last season and the previous season, where they came second as well in EPL. So kudos to them, kudos to Arteta, kudos to the boys. They did a lot this season, and I think they'll be happy at the end of the day. They'll be happy. Come on, they're going home with the gold medal of EPL, as EPL winners. So that's not an easy thing to do. So for moving forward, Arsenal, of course, they need to bring in more players. They need to bring in more players. Look at the ones that are not performing at the expected level. Those that have stagnated over a period of time, and make necessary changes. I trust Arteta to take those decisions. I don't see him as I don't think he's someone that shies away from making tough decisions. So I see new players coming into Arsenal as we go into this new season. So kudos to Arsenal, a fantastic season. Congrats to every Arsenal fan watching this. I urge you to keep supporting, keep sharing, keep engaging, and see you on the next video.